We've both been examining the nitty-gritty, the detail of this Office for National Statistics inflation release this morning. Of course, the headline figures, the Consumer Price Index, the Retail Price Index, they're the ones that get reported. But as Catherine said, the Producer Price Index is over 22%. And that's the price of consumer, what they're selling. What producers are having to buy in order to make and provide the stuff that they sell. But producer price outputs, what they actually sell onto retailers, that price inflation is nearer 15%. So their inputs are 22% up, their outputs are 15% up. They're still absorbing a lot of that increase in the cost margin, which suggests there's more price pressures to come. Is that what you're hearing from your members who make up the Food and Drink Federation?
Absolutely, Liam. The input costs into our sector, into food manufacturers across the country, are running higher than the headline rate of inflation at the moment. So that says to us that costs are going to continue to go up, and inflation in food and drink prices is going to continue to go up. You know, as your panel have said, our sector is made up of lots of brilliant businesses of every size, and what we really need to do is support the sector and make sure it gets through this difficult period in as good a shape as possible. As your panel has said, companies are absorbing some of the prices at the moment. You know, companies in our sector are cutting costs. They're taking money out of advertising and marketing. They're taking money out of innovation. They're taking money out of investment. Some of them are reducing their product lines in order to save money. And their resilience is really at an all-time low, because we've already been through the problems of Brexit, the COVID crisis. So it is a difficult time for companies, and I do think there are difficult times to come. We do think that the government could do more to support our sector. You know, there is a really high cost of regulation at the moment, particularly in some of the environmental regulations the government is putting forward. We absolutely support the aim of those regulations, but we think the way in which the government is designing those regulations and the environmental schemes attached to them is overly complicated, and it's going to be inefficient, and it's going to drive costs into food and drink businesses that we think we could well avoid.
Mark Bridgen, the governor of the dog based in Wingham in Kent. Justin Urquhart-Stewart says you run precisely the kind of business we should nurture and cherish. As I said, you employ 30 people. A lot of those jobs are the part-time jobs, the jobs that amend families' income, the jobs that keep people's head above the water. You employ a lot of women, a lot of young people. Are you feeling nurtured and cherished? How do you think the business environment is helping or not helping the small and medium-sized firms like yours that keep our economy running?
We've just been through, you know, as we've just said, we've just been through a very challenging period, COVID and all these things, and the support through COVID was phenomenal, okay, both by the government and by the public. And we, you know, a few months ago, everything was fantastic, really, for our business, and it's just pivoted so quickly. One of the things, really big bits of help, was the reduced VAT rate in hospitality, and when that went back to 20 in March, okay, that was a real issue again. If the government could help us with that measure, that instrument, to help put some margin back into what we're doing, we've got half a chance of keeping our 30 staff employed, of not having to continue to increase our prices that the public are facing, and it should get us through the utility crisis that we're about to walk into in October.